see. They've got to be happy with that one. Great. Congratulating the rest of his roster going down, but they're far from done. This map is far from over. Both teams have time left to spare. Back on the map of Paris. Still much to be decided, but the Eternal are looking in good shape, Matt, to even up the series at 1 apiece here with almost double the amount of time that Dallas had left after their attack.
And I think it was a really good point B attack from the Paris Eternal. They had some ultimates they were able to use to kind of steamroll on through it. So they'll come out with the same composition they ran last time, where they're going to have Soon play the Sombra here, Danye on Bastion, with the Batiste and the Zenyatta in play. So see what the Dallas Fuel decide to do. Does Zachary still stay on the Tracer here? The last time they ran Node on the Hanzo and they ran like a triple DPS composition. This time they're running
Soon! He didn't see that coming. He thought he was in a 1v1. That wasn't a gentleman's duel at all. Zachary, the double team. That's nasty. Gray might be in trouble now as well.
OG just dives right into Danye.
Yeah, not ideal. It seems the Eternal was still focused on getting rid of the Winstons. OG getting himself up there. The Fuel have started to capture the point, though. That is AKM sat there, leaving Zachary to roam free. Ordinarily, you'd think that the Sombra and Tracer would play together here, Matt.
But now when OG drops, you get nothing out of that pickoff on Soon early. You're not able to make anything out of that.
Far too eager, perhaps. That was a recall there from Zachary, who has seen enough. A pulse bomb dropped on Danye by the Tracer could be a good way to start this fight off, but the Dallas Fuel need to be able to get everyone in position without anyone kind of being picked off, which is hard. So much damage being aimed at them by Paris, but there's 24 seconds left.
Walk right into the amplification matrix, plus the Bastion damage on the point.
Nowhere to shut it down. Pulse bomb could be huge here. It's dropped. It doesn't connect. Zachary almost got killed by his own bomb there. Recalled back in the direction of it. But that's not good. That was the ultimate they needed to open up this fight, and it fizzled. Now Kruise is going to set up the real bunker here. Immortality field thrown on towards Cloudy. Amplification matrix in that back corner, and you know Danny's about to bring the pain. OG can't get away. Mortar fire decimating the Dallas Fuel, and the Paris Eternal don't really leave much of them left on the point here. Successfully defending so far, and Unko sat in the corner. He don't want to play anymore. He's done. But he's got much more to go. The Paris Eternal hold off on defense here, and that's a very good sign for them.
Yeah, really nice ultimate there from Danye on the Bastion. The tank configuration able to pick up 3. So, Dallas doesn't make any capture progress there on point A, so just 1 tick on point A required here for the Paris Eternal to take the map.
They had an opening. Getting rid of Soon, Matt, was so huge, and yet Soon still got an EMP before AKM, which kind of blows my mind. But OG there, maybe again a communication issue. They pick off the enemy Sombra, Dallas do, the Fuel, and then they realize, okay, we can work on this. OG jumps up, maybe someone told him to dive in. The timing wasn't really there.
No, it was there, but just like maybe a little bit too late. And I think probably just a communication issue of what they were trying to do. Because it looked like a lot of other players had pushed past the Bastion to try and force the issue on the point. Where I think OG, probably in his head, he's like, hey, we have the advantage, the player advantage, let's use it to get rid of the Bastion and then start to push through it. But I think it's just like a little bit difference of play as Dallas are running a double main tank setup here on defense yet again. So you have the Winston and the Orisa with the Bastion play. When you see Bastion play, you see the Batiste for the Immortality field. You're also going to have Unko play the Ana. And I think why you see the Ana come out of game here for Paris is that it's just you need the healing output of Ana. Regardless of whether the barriers are in play, you need the biotic grenades, you need the ability to land a big sleep dart and push on through.
The disruption that you can cause to the enemy team while simultaneously keeping your team really topped up on health.
I mean, also 3.
Was this another nerdy? Oh, I thought Gray was going to go. He might actually do this.
He's going to try.
There's another setup here. This is the Gray special. A nerdy biotic grenade from the high ground. It actually hits Cloudy here. Damn, I love that. They did it on Hanamura earlier on. It was just amazing. However, Not really much of an opening made there by the Eternal, and that constant hail of bullets from Zachary's Bastion reminds them that they're not ready to go in yet.
Yeah, they had to wait a little bit because Danya actually got slept and then hacked. So they had to dedicate some resources by Biotic Grenade to keep him up.
As you can see, Bastion has 300 bullets in a clip, but it takes a while to reload, and those bullets do go pretty quickly. That's how miniguns kind of work. Zachary, though, again, see that little blue on his health bar means he's being kept alive by that immortality field, and that prolonged his life such that, well, the Eternal kind of broke themselves trying to get towards him. Nice healing. Good support for Zachary here, who's definitely the centerpiece of this defensive setup.
Yeah, and I think Paris knows it's going to be tough for a few fights. I think they're just waiting to bank some of these ultimates. Like, you can get EMP plus a Nano Blade where you use the Nano Boost on the Genji, and the Genji uses the Dragon Blade. You feel really good about securing that fight. The only issue is you're going to run into some ultimates on the other side.
Here we go again, though. Danya was working on the side, and this time he got Zachary. He deflected the bullets back towards him. But AKM and OG found a couple of big kills, and Cloudy and Finzi both got hacked. Those two tanks, without the use of their abilities, don't do a heck of a lot at all. OG in a great spot, cleans off Finzi, no remeching for him, and now it's just a very disgruntled Cloudy in Primal Rage, unable to do anything else.
Yeah, I mean, you end up using your Nano Boost onto Danya when he didn't have the blade. He gets hacked up during that, so now you see Zachary, he's not going to play the Bastion here. You're going to play Tracer just to make it back, but there's really no synergy between, like, Tracer, Sombra, Orisa, and Winston.
A draw on this map is not something the Eternal can afford.
No.
If they draw this map, they need to win the next two to win the series. Dallas would only need to win one more map.
They're trying to bait this EMP just on the two players on the point.
Soon actually didn't manage to get closer there, but is able to pick him off. EMP didn't connect, but that's the Dragon Blade. Note can't do a whole lot about it. Danya thought he'd have an easy time, but Zachary headshot with the pulse pistols as he tries to push out. With Finzi desuited here, AKM and OG can team up a little bit, and Zachary's still on the ground doing work. Finzi trying to chase down Unko in mini diva form, and he gets him. Even though he was desuited, he still had a pistol to work with. But that didn't work for the Eternal, and they spent a lot of ultimates.
Oh, but Unko, he's so low on the point, and he actually hits a really clutch Biotic Grenade. Connects with like 2 or 3 players of the Paris Eternal. So Paris switches over. They're going to run Brigitte McCree here. So Soon will play the McCree, trying to deal with some of these flankers. His note is still on the Orisa. Probably just wants to get used to the supercharger.
Soon knows he has to get rid of AKM and Zachary here. Two very slippery characters that are very vulnerable once McCree throws his flashbang at them. It's an easy kill for the McCree player if he hits the flashbang. There are 2 of these very slippery characters for McCree to deal with in Tracer and Sombra, though. That's a lot on his plate. Soon has to really go above and beyond the call of duty here, but without Cloudy, it's going to be very hard for the Eternal to even engage a fight, let alone win it. And there it is, OG pushes forward, he gives up his life, he knows it was worth it. And there it is, the draw on Paris. The Eternal, shamed on what we consider their home map. In fact, they really need, now the field only need one more map to essentially secure the series. The Eternal have to double down, they have to knuckle down, trying to batten the hatches. They have a lot of work to do after our halftime break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile. And by State Farm. Whatever life brings your way, State Farm is here to help life go right.
with a perfect 2-0 record, and they're in pretty good shape in this one. Up 1-0 over the Eternal at the half. Welcome back to halftime, everybody. Malik here, joined by Brent and Zoe. Guys, so far, I gotta say, it's been fun watching Dallas play. They are looking very top tier thus far.
Yes, yeah, I think right now I'm placing Dallas in the upper mid-table in terms of every other team. They're playing very well on point. I think their triple tank, triple support's been honestly pretty good. So, I mean, no complaints from me. Dallas Fuel, keep up what you're doing.
Well, thank God Brent isn't complaining. You're me. I was worried for a second.
All right, well, let's go ahead and jump into the highlights for Busan. We saw AKM and Unco popping off, two Team Friends teammates here on the Dallas Field doing their thing so far.
Yeah, and I have to say, in that Zarya battle on map 1 at least, Soon definitely had the upper hand, even though Dallas Fuel as a whole looked better. It was just Shadowburn was actually doing a lot of work on his Brigitte. Soon did well. The only one who kind of dropped the ball there was Cloudy. He kind of got rolled over in that first map a lot. And OGE looked really, really, really good.
Yeah, I've been paying attention to Dallas Fuel in particular. OGE has been playing monstrously well this entire series. I think a big part of this is the reasons you already mentioned. He's being set up quite well, Zoe. Zachary, I think he's been on point of his Brigitte. He's probably going to hate me for saying that. All he does is tweet about how much he dislikes really playing that hero. He just wants to play a lot of damage dealers. But in general, the guy is, he's been playing very well on the Brigitte, setting up a lot of these crucial Earth Shatters, at least on map 1 here. But it does come back to this battle between the Frenchmen. You know, Soon and AKM used to be former teammates. You can see, despite the fact that Paris lost, a big discrepancy in terms of the statistics, Soon leading in a lot of these categories.
But that shows what a good understanding he has of playing Zarya, because you really want to position yourself in a way where you don't lose your energy upkeep, and that is something Soon managed. On map number 2, they both went on Sombra, and that battle was just as close as we're seeing it right now on Zarya. So really impressive plays from both those Frenchmen.
Indeed, indeed. Now, before we get into the second map, I think it's time for our insights powered by Intel. Bryn, you got something good for us today.
I do indeed. I'm going to be breaking down Dallas's initial attack that happened on Paris straight away. And it opens up with a damage-dealing composition. We call this a spam composition. They use the Hanzo arrows and the fire rockets to spam into the bunker composition, this kind of like fortified position, try and put in damage and try and get a pick. They're trying to actually force out Kruise's immortality fields. An ability he has is going to try and keep everyone alive with it, and they're trying to make them use it whilst you see Zachary and OG at the bottom here set up a little bit of a dive, a little bit of a pincer movement coming in from them. And this is the thought process from Dallas Fuel and how they want to attack this. But Paris read into this. They know this is exactly what they're trying to do. And you can see the immortality field's already been used. You can see in the UI up here, it goes off. And now OG is going to try and set up the dive. But here's where I pause it, because Paris, they read ahead. They already know this. Soon is already looking behind. Look at that arrow position. He's read where OG is. He knows that all he has to do is get one hack off onto OG, and he disrupts the entire push. And that's exactly what he does. OG tries to go in for the initiation, gets hacked up, disabled. He can't roll into them anymore. And you can see it again from this perspective. It's an easy kill onto OGE, sets it all up for Paris. And this is something that Paris did well throughout this this map in particular, was actually spotting essentially what Dallas needed to do to try and break the comp. They got a very good understanding of how to play Paris as a map, but it still wasn't good enough for them to get the win. They still end up only drawing out, and I think they're going to be quite disappointed with their performance on this map in particular.
I was going to say, that's their home turf. That was the map that they were expected to win. Now, with that given, going into the second half, they're down 1-0. If Paris can't win the Paris map, how do they expect to win the rest of this game?
This is going to be hard.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be easy, but the games technically have been really close. I do think that Paris maybe bring the switches on a little quicker. I do think they were kind of stuck in their ways, even though it did work for them on attack at the beginning on their OT attack round. They were kind of really set onto their dive compositions, where maybe switching over to a poke composition would have broken that bunker comp from the Dallas Fuel a little bit faster. But yeah, quicker switches might be helping them. It's going to be tough.
For me, I'm looking at the maps next. We've got Blizzard World. Dallas have never played Blizzard World so far. We don't really know what they're going to be running into. That's an issue for Paris. Paris Eternal are going to be looking at this with a bit of they don't really know what to expect. They're going to have to play towards their compositions. And then they've got Rialto. Paris are 0-3 on Rialto so far this season as well. Not a great map for them. Dallas, they should have a big advantage moving forward.
You want to switch your pick, Bren?
Oh yes, 100%. I'm switching to Dallas for this one.
How's Blizzard Arena feeling about this match? You feeling Paris, Dallas? Yeah?
Middling.
A little in the middle. All right, guys, well, we're getting ready to get into the second half a bit. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss it. They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.
Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. The Dallas Fuel slugging it out with the Paris Eternal. At half-time sees a 1-0 score. Map 2 was actually drawn. Neither team was able to use their time in the bank to successfully get point A captured on their second attack. This kind of means, though, Matt, that there are less opportunities here for Paris to get map wins in order to win the series. There's only 2 more maps left. Paris need to win both of them, whereas the Fuel only need to win one of those 2 maps to take the series away.
Yeah, I mean, this one turns into a must-win, right, as you go on to Blizzard World for the 3rd map. The Fuel composition really gave Paris some trouble, considering how much time they have left. They kind of have to run dive in that situation, because you can't run like if you ran like a half dive, but like let's say like a Hanzo or some kind of
something like that. Yep.
Like you have the Sombra and the Winston still for the Dallas Fuel, so their Dallas are just going to have them jump the back line. You're going to lose those players.
Those poke characters are very vulnerable to getting dived on in general. That's their sort of downside.
So I think what they ran with was probably the best of the only option that they kind of had. Is now it'll be Paris on defense here on Paris to kick things off. We'll see what they decide to do. Still some time to make some changes here for both teams.
Blizzard World's going to be an interesting one, Matt. Sombra, we expect to see plenty more of that being used here.
You see that was the first point. The hybrid, you'd have to take that point and then move the payload. This would be the second point. And then I know inside to complete the map. Blizzard World, you don't usually see like a ton of captures. Like usually like point A can be difficult to take sometimes.
It's a long map, right?
Yeah, I think point B is another one where like we see teams stall out like towards the end. Like the defending spawn is so close there. As looks like for Paris on defense, they want to go with 3 damage dealers with the Mercy in the Ana here.
AKM may not stay on this Widowmaker pick. Yeah, I'd be surprised. The McCree, though, is interesting. Okay. You must have seen Soon play it in the last map and thought, I'd love to go back to those old days myself. So he will go there. That's... I mean, Paris are playing like a very defensive poke composition, a lot of long-range damage from Danye and Finzi, so I guess AKM's happy playing into that.
Yeah, I mean, you want the hit scan to deal with the Pharah. This also, Note is a diva who likes to really like get into the back line, like put a lot of pressure on the support. So this kind of frees up Note in the Pharah responsibility, where you can have AKM try and take this Pharah out.
Trying to chase Pharah as diva is kind of annoying anyway. You don't have the ability to get up as high in the air as she does. Here's the dive though. That's a massive hit on Gray though. AKM almost put The Ana for Paris out of commission there with that one shot. Soon trying to harass.
Gray might have died there if he doesn't hit that sleep dart on OG as well.
And you see Soon trying to keep AKM busy while Cloudy comes and drops it on top. But the peel for the fuel as they turn back to keep the McCree alive was great. And now AKM has all this room to work. McCree thrives when he has space, when he's not being threatened up close. The Eternal choose to give away some of the point. They're going to come back in, but without Cloudy, Matt, what are their options?
I mean, it's going to be tough. Soon could get a touch here, but looks highly unlikely. I think Paris will back out.
That was a very pacifist approach from the Eternal to point A.
Especially when you're running so many damage dealers, right? But I think the Nano Boost comes in on OG, just jumps right on top of Finzi, who is a big source of damage. Like, the Sombra's not a great source of damage. Sombra can just be a nuisance, right? Hack enemies, take their abilities offline.
She's not designed to 1v1, right? I wouldn't call her a duelist, really.
I mean, if she was really good in the 1v1s, it's essentially like Tracer, right? Like, where it's kind of where Tracer has the edge. Like, Tracer as a flanker can just provide so much more burst damage than like a Sombra.
McCree has a single target style, essentially single target. Soon's gone down already, though. That's the opening. Looks like he might have been actually shield bashed by Zachary in that fight. At least there was a bit of help, but still the Eternal want to push her back a little bit. Yeah, they don't really want to hang around for this fight.
I mean, it's not even another fight. It's just one kill there from the Dallas Fuel that allows him to push the payload about halfway through point B here.
It could have been a fight, but it never quite got there. Yep. Stunned, shield bashed, and killed.
And he actually gets lucky there soon. Like, he may have been trying to play for the EMP in that position.
He could have lost it. He would have tried to use EMP and then been interrupted while he was charging it or channeling that ability, and then he would have not had it to use now. So Soon probably happy that he got picked off as early as he did. LH Cloudy, oh, great, throws a body grenade in there, nicely done, pressuring down AKM. McCree, not the most mobile of heroes.
Well, the Widowmaker is a really good switch here for the Paris Eternal. Widowmaker just outranges McCree. Like, McCree can't really, like, in the 1v1 against Widow, can't really do anything.
His damage falls off quite a lot at the ranges where Widowmaker or Danye here will thrive.
And noticing this part of the map where the McCree has to kind of play in open space, you can see it from Danye's POV. It's a really good switch.
Switch off to Sombra for AKM here. Not going to try and challenge the Widow. Danye backs up. OG tries to go in for the dive, but Danye just uses his grappling hook to get out. And that was a nano boost used on OG. He has to get some value out of it, and he does. He lands right on top of Soon, who did use the EMP, but the follow-up, not really there. Closer was even able to use the sound barrier despite the rest of his team having their abilities taken away from them, and still the Fuel is able to steamroll through the Eternal. OG, that's filthy.
Really nice here on offense for the Dallas Fuel. Cloudy switches off of the Wrecking Ball. I feel so bad for him. I'm watching from the top down, and I can see like his little character. It says stun, then it says hack, then it says stunned again. Like he had no opportunity to even do anything contesting the point.
The timing was good there from OG though, wasn't it? And then once he had the Primal Rage, he knew he'd have multiple uses of his jump pack as the cooldown is reduced greatly when you're in Primal Rage to make sure he could pressure down the enemy Widowmaker. Self-destruct thrown to the backside, but Cloudy is felled by a fire strike from OG, and Dallas aren't done yet. Every time the Eternal try and fight, Dallas take the initiative away from them and the player advantage.
Yeah, and the self-destruct there from Notes, not really designed to get any kills. It just splits the Paris Eternal off. Half of them have to move up, half of them go back around the pillar. That allows the easy elimination there on LH Cloudy in the front.
A little bit close for comfort for OG there. He wanted to push deep to make sure Paris couldn't get out of their spawn room easily. That gives Dallas a little bit of extra payload push where they're not going to be content. Another pickoff! Are you kidding me? Gray going down to Unco now. This is terrible for the Eternal. They need Gray to be alive. And yes, there will be time for him to get back, but the payload will almost be on the threshold by that point.
It's going to be Paris with just one last attempt here as the rally comes through. OG with a shatter. We know how good he was early on. There's a massive one.
Danye and Soon both going down. OG getting Cloudy even with the shatter damage. Unco was a Transcendence, but he doesn't even need to use it. That was about as one-sided as it gets. Paris struggling here, and they may have let their chances in this match completely slip away from them. With such a fast time for the Dallas Fuel map, they finished the map with 3 minutes and 4 seconds remaining. As far as Blizzard World goes, that is ridiculous. The Eternal, I've got some work to do. Well, the motto is let there be light, but Paris's flame has all but been consumed by the Dallas Fuel so far. DEFCON 7 in the Paris bunker. Matt, they are in struggle town.
It's a great push there from the Dallas Fuel. It's the third fastest ever. Paris doesn't even get a good attempt on the defense. Soon dies. At once point B, the card starts to move. Soon dies right away, so they have to wait. Then the next time they use EMP, they don't really get a fight there. And then the last time you have 2 players get picked off early, you don't get any type of fight there if you're the Paris Eternal.
All Stars is coming up between the stage 2 and 3 break. If you want to see me get wrecked playing Overwatch on stage, plus all your favorite pros, go head to head. Check it out. AXS.com/OWL for the All-Star tickets.
Well, it all depends if you get wrecked or not. If you have a sideshow on the other side of the stage, you have a
I want once to be like on the team that has an on-paper advantage. Anyway, the Fuel definitely do right now, but OG is absolutely wrecking Paris.
It's the sick shatter, man. OG leads the first half in terms of final blows with 10. Didn't drop at all, so having himself a really strong performance overall. Dallas Fuel going to run the triple tank, triple support, but instead of a Brigitte, you're going to use the Baptiste here. Some high ground here, an opportunity for the Baptiste to put down some extra damage, the Immortality field as well to be used.
No Diva for the Eternal here. Finzi will be playing Soldier 76. Finzi, in the days of old, was quite the hit scan extraordinaire, actually. Seen a lot of McCree and Soldier from him. Eternal hoping to leverage that still, present ability. That hurts. That's a huge pile driver, though. Dante following up pretty nicely, and it had to be an Immortality field used to keep them alive. Nice start for the Eternal. As I digressed from my previous point, but it don't matter now. Finzi already showing off his talent.
And everybody gets hit with a biotic grenade for the Dallas Fuel, but Note. So they send Note onto the point. He gets demeched instantly.
Oh, AKM ate that one. Danye completely uncontested in the skies right now. Only Zachary can really challenge him, maybe Unco to a degree. Danye's more than happy firing into the small alcove. And now the Eternal, they come to reap.
And I think that's where you see having the Reinhardt on defense kind of hurts you there. If you're the Dallas Fuel, you have to play really stationary around the Reinhardt. Not a lot of ability to dive one of these players in the back. So switches are ready for the Dallas Fuel. OG will play Winston. So he gets hacked up now and has to be careful not to drop. And AKM will play Sombra. Yeah, instead.
So Dallas Fuel struggling to deal with the momentum that the Eternal have generated very quickly. They got wombo comboed pretty hard in that first fight, though.
No ultimates needed for the Paris Eternal as well. Zachary will switch to Widowmaker here, so move off of Brigitte. So like we talked about when Paris was on defense, switches right back. So
EMP for Soon. Maybe less than ideal, but he got Unco with it by the looks of things. Unco was still able to get his shield back. Zachary flattened by the barrage. It's a very average-looking Dallas Fuel. They're haggard, Matt. They can't even get really out of their own spawn area, and the Eternal have been pushing the payload this entire time. You can see now Gray has been on duty, getting it towards that point B. Dallas are being denied this entire part of the map to even play Overwatch.
Oh, I mean, they'll have a nano visor set up for the next point, or you can have Cloudy get the nano boost when he comes down with the big pile driver. So Paris looking really strong here. He's going to use the minefield in the back. That forces out Transcendence from Unco.
Yeah, easy force out with that ultimate now. Finzi wants to pressure down a little bit now. Tactical visor combined with nano boost. It could be a lot of damage here, but the Fuel had the sound barrier. It doesn't help keep Closer and Unco alive, though. You might be thinking, wow, that's some incredible lane. That's Tactical Visor for you. Locking on, making it quite easy for Finzi to deal with those squishy targets now. Forced back a little bit, drops his own biotic field, and AKM, that's a headshot! And a battle that AKM, as soon as that biotic field went down, was not likely to win. The Eternal are all over it right now. OG trying to stay alive on the payload. Gray and Soon have both gone down, and this Primal Rage could buy enough time for the Dallas Fuel to actually have a defense here. Kruise gone. Finzi has to get out of there.
Oh, and the Primal Rage. I mean, Kruise lives there. I mean, there is a really good opportunity for the Paris Eternal to push it over the line, but really nice Primal Rage, able to take out Kruise, and now changes come in here for the Paris Eternal. Okay, so they want to keep Soon on this because they're so close to the EMP. You want to try and get... I mean, EMP is such a game-changing ultimate where sometimes you'll give up an ultimate to switch heroes. EMP is not one of them.
Oh, EMP, though, that happened first to the Paris Eternal, so Soon won't have a chance to use that in this fight. And he, in fact, is the first casualty. The Dallas Fuel laser lock onto him and remove him from the field. This enough will be enough to force the Eternal to back away.
And I think your only issue with this, if you're Paris, is that after the EMP is used, would you want to play like a standard 3-3? Because then you're giving up your Graviton Surge charge as well. Zachary uses Rally here. So Paris will not want to rush into the rally. They'll want to wait this out.
I'll give you the big tip. Soon, not really a diva player.
Oh, yes.
He does not play. That would force Finzi to switch off the Zarya and have Soon play it. It might not happen for a little while. So Paris are kind of stuck with the Sombra for the time being. Soon, EMP hits OG Zachary and Note getting, a couple of those big tanks. And Note getting desuited there is a good start. They remove him. Cloudy receives. Note as he drops straight on down. But OG's going to come in over the top once more. That was a Graviton Surge from Finzi. He catches 3 of the Fuel players in it. OG was freed of it, trying to sow discord in the back line of the Eternal, and it kind of worked. The Winston disruption was huge, but now AKM, they had to keep him alive. They throw a repair pack at him to keep him up. Now Self-Destruct coming in over the top here. This is for the Fuel. They get Finzi. That's big. Huge source of damage off the table now for the Paris Eternal. They might be starting to run out of steam. The Fuel finally managed to stabilize, and with that pick from Note, the most recent pickup, the Eternal once more have their legs cut out from under them.
Both teams invested a ton of ultimates in that fight. A really long, drawn-out fight as well. Soon just trying to poke in the back line, trying to get this EMP here.
And they're still stuck with this Sombra.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of committing to it at this point. I mean, 1:30 to go. I mean, they used the nano boost onto Finzi to try and build that grab up rather quickly.
Uncommon closer, closer mostly has to stay safe and away from this EMP. Both teams going to use rally. Their Brigitte's hitting that Q button, and OG gets himself a nano boost here. But where does it go? The entirety of the Eternal is kind of avoiding him for now. But another Primal Rage. This guy's generated so many of these Winston ultimates, and now he can put a pressure on Cloudy in the corner. He's put to sleep. Great dart from Grey, but Summon on the Eternal wakes OG back up. He's the Graviton Surge there from the Dallas Fuel. There's the follow-up there. OG caught at long range by Soon, and he has an EMP to follow up now. But instead, he just hacks Note. Takes away his faculties without having to use his ultimate. And now the chase then on towards Closer. It looks like the Eternal have found a way through, but they got stumped there a little bit by Dallas.
Yeah, but you think when they take this second point, though, they can maybe snowball this, as you do have sound barrier still. You're going to have your Earth Shatter and EMP. The OG.
3-man shatter from Cloudy, by the way. He just went and pretty much soloed the back line of the Dallas Fuel.
So OG makes a change off of Winston over to Reinhardt here. So if you're Dallas, you probably want to take a close fight, as you know that they have some big ultimates here for Paris. You take a close fight, it gives you an opportunity, with let's say 30, 40 seconds on the clock, to actually have one good last defense to potentially win the map.
This map has been a slugfest, but the Fuel on the back of their very fast attack are in the lead right now. But is that Graviton Surge, man? EMP to follow.
This looks like a fight that Paris should definitely win. As sound barrier will be invested here for the Paris Eternal as well. But this is exactly what the Dallas Fuel wanted. They'll come back in the next fight. They'll have their own rally. AKM getting closer towards this grab, just putting down some damage here at the end. You give yourself a good opportunity towards the end. One fight is all you need to win if you're the Dallas Fuel at the end.
And they were making sure, Dallas, that they were eliminated whilst being on the payload, preventing it from moving throughout the entire duration of that fight. They did use sound barrier, Matt, and Unco's actually switched Optiano to Zen here.
But they ended up, using the sound barrier on the other side. They ended up using the Graviton Surge. So some big ultimates used by Paris. So see, this last fight's going to kick off around when I was talking about 45 seconds here on the clock. If they're able to win this fight, it's a GG in favor of Dallas Fuel.
Cloudy has to end this with a shatter. He tries to go for it. The knockdown only on towards Zachary. Now he's caught up inside a Graviton Surge. Stanye is down. Gray tries to go for a 10 sentence, but it's too late to save the Brigitte from Paris Eternal. That's the EMP though. 6 players from the Dallas Fuel, and it's lights out. No chance for them to come back after Soon. It's a massive Sombra ultimate. Closer will be taken down, and the Eternal, I mean, they're beaten black and blue, man, but they get across the line in the end. Less than a minute remaining in their time bank, but it's something to go on at least.
Yeah, and that's why you don't switch off the Sombra. We talk about how impactful EMP is. The EMP of Soon puts it away, gives Paris a chance to take the map.
Turns out Sombra's EMP is pretty good. You see the Eternal, they refused to switch and add a Diva to their roster. They stayed with Soon Sombra, and it paid off.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can take all of the abilities from the other team. off the table. It's pretty impactful. As you see, Soon does a nice job staying alive. Just kind of goes right up. I mean, he knows that they have to push forward to try and contest this payload, so he knows he's going to connect with the view players.
You cannot use your abilities when you're EMP. You can use your primary fire and secondary fire, but you can't use a lot of those abilities, especially for tanks, that give them mobility or damage mitigation. That's off the table. So Dallas Fuel's entire team comp is essentially nullified in that moment.
And Dallas doesn't come out on defense playing the same thing they did the last time. They'll have OG play Winston here, and then they're going to have Zachary play the Brigitte. So what this does is Paris realizes, hey, we had the advantage last time with the damage dealers versus the Reinhardt. We don't have the advantage with the damage dealers against the Winston.
This is kind of hard for OG now. He's not doing as much damage as Cloudy is. So in the main tank battle, the Reinhardt has an inherent advantage. This means OG needs to actually avoid Cloudy as much as he can and try and pressure the backline as Winston with that extra mobility, but not looking great. AKM's taking a huge amount of damage early in this fight. Cloudy is low, but Soon is charged up and ready to hit hard.
And I mean, it's also very difficult to keep OG up, just in terms of he can get stunned. A lot of damage that can go down on OG.
I mean, he just got a repair, a pack, and a Zarya bubble thrown at him at the same time.
Basically dead.
But the Fuel are still alive, and Zachary's going to go for the rally. Soon gets stunned up, knocked back. He's quite low, in fact. They need Soon to stay alive here. He's so important, but AKM hunts his brother across the field and takes him down. Now what do Paris do? Well, nothing. Apparently they just roll over and accept their fate here because the Dallas Fuel were able to hold off their initial push and pressure down their damage dealers. And that is a hold on point A for the Dallas Fuel, Matt. And right now, if you're Paris, you're not feeling good. You must hold the Dallas Fuel in the same way to even try and get yourself a draw. But the thing is, the draw may not be enough here.
And I think it just shows that Dallas Fuel really good. C5, man. There's like nothing you can do.
He ain't.
I think it's really good prioritization of targets from the Dallas Fuel. They realize that the fight's extended pretty long. Soon's pretty charged up. As soon as they see him weak, they all just change course and they go right at him. Don't want to. I mean, he's like at 87% to a Graviton Surge. You're like, oh, well, it's like 13% away. That 13% comes in an instant in Zarya when you're fully charged up. I mean, he gets a grab there. It's a completely different fight.
Dallas saw it. They saw that Soon was maybe a little bit extended. They went straight into the shield bash and the finish. So if there is, by some chance, a draw in this match, i.e. Dallas are unable to take point A, there is a chance that Paris can still win this series, but it would have to be in map 5. So Paris would have to win the next map and then win it in 5. And how likely do you think that would be here?
I mean, a lot of time here for the Dallas Fuel to attack. Unlike your ranked games where you're in a good spot and somebody decides to play Torbjorn on offense at the end, I highly doubt Zachary decides to do that.
As far as we know, there are no intentional throwers on the Dallas Fuel.
Yeah, so we will see that Zachary will switch off. As OG going to play the Wrecking Ball here. So you get the Wrecking Ball plus Tracer. If you're going to play Brigitte, you probably don't play Wrecking Ball. The Wrecking Ball probably just a scout here, if anything.
If I'm not mistaken, Dallas had the third fastest attack on this map.
Yeah, when they see the Reinhardt. Okay, so they decide to run. Interesting. So they're going to run triple support. They're going to run the Reinhardt version here. Yeah. So the Note going to stay on D.Va for now. He may go back to spawn and swap. As you don't really see D.Va with the Reinhardt without Zarya. So Note will play Zarya here as they're going to play a Sombra version of the 3-3. This is kind of good in a position where you only really need one big fight. The EMP takes everybody's abilities offline. It's like your highest chance of a win in terms of team fights is to get that EMP.
AKM is trying to draw the Eternal back to the point and try and force them away from the choke that Paris are trying to play in. And they've done exactly that. Now Paris are playing on the point where Dallas can wrap around the right-hand side and the left-hand side and even behind simultaneously, putting a lot of extra pressure on Paris. Soon must stay alive. They need the source of damage that Zarya provides as she charges up. And note, he's already at 82% or 82 charge. That is a lot. Attempted hack in the back line, but Zachary goes down, whip shot by Danye. And I'd say the Fuel are playing conservatively enough here to sort of end the fight and back away slowly.
You have to. When you lose Zachary, there's no big burst heal that you can provide onto any of the tanks. You don't have the repair pack, so AKM decides he'll die at the hands of Kruise here, so you have to wait even longer if you're the Dallas Fuel. For Dallas, though, EMP plus Shatter coming up. You're going to have a Transcendence to use as well. So you're going to have Grey Hide for the Paris Eternal. Bait out the EMP, right, and then come in with the Transcendence. It's just can you get back in the fight fast enough to keep people alive?
I wonder where Gray is playing from right now. I think he has split himself off from the rest of the Eternal, trying to stay safe. AKM will look for... Oh, AKM took a hit there. He has to get out. Oh, we did not expect to get hit by the Ryan Hammer, and yet the Fuel seem like they still want to go forward. That's a pretty big EMP. The Earth Shatter Fire, that was brilliant. Cardi goes down early in the fight. Unco takes his head clean off. Sound Barrier might be a little bit too late for the Eternal, but it's all they've got left. Self-destruct over the top. Doesn't relieve the pressure whatsoever. Finzi couldn't find a kill with that D.Va ultimate. Now it's up to Gray. It's up to Finzi. But the ladder gets taken out of his mech already, and Gray is down. And Dallas Fuel take Blizzard World. And they cannot lose this series now. They go 2-0 with one map remaining. This team has turned the corner in a huge way.
They look very strong here in Stage 2. The addition of Note's been massive. It's great to see a lot of the heroes we didn't get to see him play on Boston because he was so good at the D.Va come out. Comes out of Zarya there at the end, helps Dallas Fuel get the map win in the series. Last map after this.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Hey, one must say French. 3 minutes.
Bien joué. Good job.
Good job? No, I mean, easy. Facile.
Facile.
Juste c'est trop facile. Just so fancy.
Yeah, I'm not going to try that myself, but I believe that is Dallas Fuel learning how to say easy clap
In
French.
Yep. So Unco leading the charge of teaching everybody else how to speak French.
He has taught me some words that I probably shouldn't repeat. You kind of had to bribe him to teach you French, though.
Yeah, he looks super uninterested in trying to teach close.
Yeah, no, he's not about it. I mean, it's only because he's been asked. He's been nice to the teammate, but
Yeah.
he's a very picky eater, by the way, as well. So if you want to try and curry favor with him, you can't just give him any old stuff. He's got that high French taste going on. But this guy on your screen, Notes, he's just still looking great on this roster, man.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen him play heroes that we haven't seen him in the past. And, you know, playing the Zarya, playing things like Hanzo, Tracer. As the series has gone on into Stage 2, I think, really, Note is going to be a huge addition for the Dallas Fuel. And I think the guy he helps out the most is OG. I mean, you see players knocked back with the primal rates 92, only 2 deaths. Just a huge game from him. The whole series, front to back. I mean, at least the games that we've casted, I can't really remember the last time we've seen like OG really pop off like this.
No, we've actually seen him in many of Dallas's losses being the one that gets exploited, right? Like, very aggressive, you know, really wants to be pushing forward. There was a moment on Paris where, you know, we saw OG try and go for a big engagement and get shot down, but these things happen. It happened to main tanks all the time. I mean, main tanks always get accused of being feeders, and you don't really realize maybe what's going on behind the scenes there. They are the ones that have to bear the brunt of the damage for their teammates.
I mean, one change that does happen for the Dallas Fuel is that they do have AKM go over to Sombra. We know AKM is a very vocal player, likes to call out. Sombra's great at gaining the information, and now that he's the one gaining the information, he can definitely relate to the rest exactly how they want to attack this, right? He's the one seeing it. He's the one gaining the info as Sombra, letting everybody know how they want to attack certain positions, where I think you don't really know inside the comms, right? Where maybe him and RC Cage didn't see like the information's being gathered, but it's not the same kind of approach where you have the shot caller who's gaining the information as well. So I think it could be a little bit of a boost to see Dallas Fuels play as well.
Yep, and AKM has stepped up into that role only really this season, actually.
Yep.
He says that he sort of felt he needed to shoulder that sort of burden to come in. Yeah. Shadowburn will be subbed in for Danye.
So this is a change they usually make. Shadowburn plays like 1 and 4. Danye plays in the middle of the series. But back on that point about AKM, it's crazy to see like his arc as a player for the Dallas Fuels. We take a look at the map set. Final map would be Rialto in this series. But last year, he's kind of thrown into the Dallas Fuel, and it was a little bit messy throughout the season.
We wondered like what his purpose was in that roster.
And he's playing Genji and stuff, and he's being kind of like judged by everybody like for heroes that he's never played. He's only playing them to try and help the team get wins.
But he wasn't maybe set up for success in some of those roles, so his stock definitely took a hit as a result.
But I think now you see why he was such a... I mean, when we got into the first free agency period last year, it wasn't like, is AKM going to be in the league? It's like, who's going to get AKM? Right. It was a huge addition. And I think you see this year, the addition definitely paying off more. Rialto, not a favorable map for Paris, 0-3 there. That would be the end of the map if you get to the point. So it's an escort, payload's unlocked at the beginning, you get it right at the spawn, 3 checkpoints again.
Obviously, a boon for the attackers. They don't have to fight to even get control of the payload like they do on Blizzard World. Dallas can get on the road pretty much straight away. But the first part of this map, take note, it is tough for a lot of attackers to make their way through. Defenders have a lot of high ground and a lot of corners just to peek behind and sort of hatch some schemes and how they're going to pick off some of these attacking players as they try and fan out.
And like in some of the previous maps where we've seen if a team comes out the Reinhardt base 3-3 on defense, the other team will go back to the spawn and change. On this map, it's not really one where you care to go back to the spawn and change as Zachary dies first, so Dallas has to back out. This is one where you feel pretty confident your 3-3 play on either side. We see some damage dealers like play time again on offense, but it's pretty risky.
New York have played a Bastion bunker composition on defense, but they were very confident. Right? They didn't really expect to have to match triple tank versus triple tank. So the Dallas Fuel essentially want to try and control this high ground. Once they do that, they want to get some easy damage onto the Paris Eternal. They're a little bit safer. They can block line of sight, but OG getting knocked off there is not good. The Dallas Fuel have to commit to this fight, but Unco across the breach finds a pick on a Grey to begin this fight, and that is huge. Unco was also very close to his Transcendence, and Grey would have been had he stayed alive. The Fuel are just getting ready to go now. Unco immediately responds to the Graviton with a Transcendence, so the Fuel come out there without a scratch on them. Cloudy, he attempts an Earth Shatter, doesn't work. Finty now desuited, and things are going from bad to worse for the Paris Eternal. Cloudy just gets completely taken out of the picture, and OG comfortable swinging that hammer on the payload, and the Paris Eternal crumple.
So the grab gets used by Soon rather quickly. He's able to build up to it, but like you mentioned, Unco getting that Transcendence first. Gray still not at his. Well, look at this. Zachary able to block the shatter that comes through here. Just get right around. That is a huge play.
Rotating the shield, so it would still be in front of Cloudy, even if he had his back to the rest of the Paris. That is
pretty sweet stuff.
I mean, when you play Brig 8 hours a day, I guess that's what you learn. Self-destruct thrown in there by No. What's the setup? Cloudy goes down. This time it was OG trying to go for an Earth Shatter, but there was no opening. Over the top of self-destruct. Attempt there from Finzi, but the rest of the Fuel were able to back up and keep themselves safe. Gray has to do a lot of work in this fight. He's in a good position. He's not being threatened right now. He needs to get some damage down on these frontliners here. And it seems to have been enough for the time being. The Dallas Fuel are backing away.
Yeah, they'll hold here. You lose OG. You can get to the bridge, just you have the Zenyatta just throwing it in there as you're so close, like what, 4 meters pretty much.
But the Dallas Fuel are running out of time. They didn't quite get that first checkpoint, which is directly under the bridge, so a couple more meters. And now they need to get there in the next couple of fights. This time, Soon is the one with the Graviton Surge.
It's a tough choke to get through as well. I mean, especially when you have all these tanks, these fights go forever. So a minute and 15, and this clock could go down pretty quick.
Can be like trying to run headfirst into a blizzard with the amount of damage that Parasite do. And they're spamming the choke with this damage. They're not always trying to get people down. Look at this. Soon just throws the Graviton Surge in. This time they're trying to get rid of Zachary early, but still the Transcendence. Still Uncle had time to get that ultimate online. And now Shadowbound goes down to AKM early in the fight. And this is looking again not great for the Eternal. They're at a player disadvantage. Grey was able to get the Transcendence off to keep them alive, but it didn't replenish the lost player. And now they're going to get punished for it. Earthshatter hits Grey. Most importantly, OG charging right out of the way. And the Dallas Fuel get that first checkpoint. The fight was still going, but the Eternal were just shoved out of the way.
And sometimes you do see those first point holds here on Rialto, as it could be a very difficult choke to get through. Now, I think if you're Dallas, you obviously have the series won, 2-0 right now, but you feel really good about any progress you make past this, because you can burn so much of the clock there to take point A. So you see Paris get set up here on the high ground here. So, you set up on this high ground, you play in this position. Yeah, maybe two attempts on the defense here.
Big damage early. That Fire Strike hurt Kruise and Finzi quite a lot. There isn't a lot of rapid healing, so Finzi goes for the self-destruct. If he gets a kill, that's great. If he gets his mech back, he gets the jackpot though, Matt. Finding closure in Unco when he was really just trying to get some health back on his mech. Take those any day of the week.
Like he gets one kill, he's happy. He kills two of the supports there, you feel great.
But there was what's crazy to me about that, Matt, is there was no elaborate setup required to make sure that self-destruct hit. Let's check it out.
A lot of open space that goes over the top of the building. Let's see where they're positioned so far. Looks like Unco's actually over on the staircase there. Same with Closer. So maybe Unco thought he was kind of good, covered by that canopy over the top, but...
So I guess what they say is when you're losing your feet, just go for the yeet. Graviton Surge now. Dallas caught up in that one for a brief moment. They fired that one off, should I say. Now it's time for Paris's Graviton. Most of them were suspended in the air, actually. OG not really able to find a big shatter there. Cloudy, neither. But Kruise goes down. So a lot of ultimates were used, but in the end of the day, it was down to Unco to find a first pick. Paris now have to be careful. They have to decide, do we commit fully to this fight or do we back away? And it looks like it may be the former. Getting a pick on Zachary is good, but the Fuel are not going to slow down on AKM. Look how he's glowing. He is very charged up. His damage is at its peak. And Soon is really trying to pressure down OG, but he realizes he might have bitten off a little bit more than he could chew with that. Great, I love that. Like Batman descending from the rafters to get AKM, but Unco punishes him for that one. Big shatter. Soon was trying to follow up and push forward with the extra charge that he had, but he was denied that opportunity.
Yeah, they try and use the sound barrier and get aggressive, and the shatter comes through from OG, just preventing any type of aggression as...
Oh dear, Unco, someone save the man!
Oh, so close to take it out there, but they're trying to speed boost AKM back in. It's AKM getting close to the grab. Same with Soon yet again. You're going to have Transcendence online for both teams as well for these.
43 seconds remain, and Dallas Fuel still need to get to that checkpoint on the other side of this L-shaped corner. They rotate around. They swap positions with the Eternal. This time, the Eternal now just going to play on that high ground. Graviton Surge from Paris, and Unco this time is the one that goes down in the Zenyatta duel, and Grey makes it 2, and that'll be enough for now.
And I think Unco gets picked off right over the top of the shield of OG. The staircase, I think Gray's playing on. He's able to just take him out right over the top of that high ground advantage, so you're not able to even get that Transcendence off.
Grey needs to, again, be a big impact in this coming fight, Matt. That Transcendence,
They even get a touch.
will be the lifeline.
It's going to be so close.
4 seconds left here. I think Closer's trying to get to the payload around the backside, but he's being kept away from it. No, will touch. So the Fuel will have a chance to fight now for their continued progress in this map. But AKM, the Graviton Surge was supposed to be the savior for the Fuel, gets eaten up by Finzi, and the self-destruct doesn't fare much better. Now it's Finzi's turn to throw a bomb, and he gets Unco. Not looking good for the Dallas Fuel now. They needed that Graviton to start off the fight. OG a wild charge across the point, and he won't be able to get back to the payload in time now. Zachary getting bullied, and it will be Closer and a stall attempt, but he eventually will be cut down, and the Fuel finally halted. Fortunately, it's too late.
Yeah, what a final fight, though, from Finzi. He's able to take out 4 members of the Dallas Fuel, plus eat AKMs. Graviton Surge, big final fight for Finzi.
Yeah, nothing looks cooler than a Diva managing to cancel out a Zai's Graviton with a Defense Matrix and then getting a bunch of kills either with a self-destruct or without.
Yeah, get a 2K with the self-destruct, another one knocking off the side. So Finzi, a pretty good performance there towards the end.
A sole Icelandic representative in the Overwatch League.
We can take a look at this. So catches it on the way down, just a casual flick.
All right, he's trying a bit of Fury. Fury from the London Spitfire showed us a a dirty flick to eat up a Graviton Surge against the Atlanta Rain.
I love Fury's interview yesterday with Danny Garcia, where he's like, Danny was like, why do you eat, how do you do this? He's like, I just make sure I come in hungry to the games, just eating all the grabs.
Oh, real substance there. Thanks for that, Fury. So Dallas Fuel, they don't finish the map. In fact, they don't even get close. They get, I would say, about halfway through the map approximately. So the Eternal, that's their win condition. Get as far as the Dallas Fuel did with some time, and it'll be there, and they'll get themselves at least one map, because their map differential is kind of flagging a bit. I believe they were at -6 before this series started, so that's not getting any better.
So the Dallas Fuel actually have, so let's see if this is coming around. Okay, because you had Closer and Zachary in the spawn, so I was wondering if they were deciding whether to run the Brigitte or the Batiste. You can speed boost the other end. They're going to run the Batiste here. Paris comes out with some damage dealers here on offense, so usually on this map, even when you see Reinhardt on the other side, you would play into the mirror, but it seems like Paris is going to try something a little bit different at this point. Try and find something that works.
Last map of the series, Matt. May as well go for broke. Shadowburn and Finzi will be continuing to lob damage inside that small room, and Dallas are going to feel a little bit uncomfortable about hanging out too close to that. Bardic Grenade connects with Note. You see that Immortality Field has already been used, and the fire hasn't really been joined.
I mean, this is a good spot for the Dallas Fuel to hold, though, because they can come out, contest the cart, also use the building to kind of hide from some of this damage, get really good uses out of the Immortality Field. But the Finzi was able to take out 2, takes out AKM and Zachary. So the Amp Matrix goes down, and you're not going to get anything out of it.
That was a matter of time, really. The Fuel were milling around inside that low building, and Finzi is able just to shred them to pieces now with Hanzo. Obviously fantastic at dealing with tanks, especially with his Stormboat. And the Paris Eternal, they're really very no-nonsense this so far in this round.
And I think playing a composition like Paris is playing right now, it's one you can practice, but it's really kind of predicated on a lot of the decision-making individual skill. As EMP goes off, plus a Dragon Strike here. Shadowburn trying to make his way back here.
So Shadowburn got nano boosted there. It's likely the Eternal intended for him to actually try and use Barrage and the extra durability from the damage boost and mitigation that it provides, allowing him to stay alive while he was quite vulnerable, firing a bunch of rockets. But it doesn't matter. The Eternal just got that first checkpoint there. They take a bit of a beating when they go through this choke point, but they get the checkpoint. Their spawn gets moved up, and they've got 4 minutes and 48 seconds, and they're actually almost done on this map.
Yeah, you see they're going to try and push forward, pick up some of these players who's still further up is Zachary using that shield to Brigitte.
Yeah, he could have actually shield bashed Cloudy, but you see he was shield bashing to get away, so he definitely didn't want to hang around.
I mean, if he tries to shield bash, most likely he ends up just getting nuked down by Shadowburn up in the skies.
Brigitte doesn't do a lot against Farah except shake her fist menacingly while the rockets come down. EMP catches Shadowburn, Finzi, and Kruise. So quite importantly, that means Shadowburn and Kruise can't remain airborne. That is big. You do want to keep that height advantage now with the composition that Paris are playing, and that payload edging ever closer. The box there, highlighted in yellow, is the goal for the Eternal. That's where they need to get to here. And they've got 4 minutes to do it.
And now that they see the Winston version of this on defense, they're actually going to switch things up. They're going to go back, and they're going to play the Reinhardt version. So now that you see Finzi on Zarya, you're going to play around the EMPs. Feel like how Blizzard World, they stuck on the Sombra play. They try and force this in with the EMP here at the end. They could end up taking it.
So watch OG try and avoid Cloudy like a bad smell. Winston does not want to be locked in a 1v1 against Reinhardt, and he'll try and go over the top of Reinhardt instead. Has that worked here? Somewhat. Finzi very low, and OG wants to chase down the target, but he gets put to sleep. Not enough, though. He's woken up. Someone on the Paris Eternal getting OG back on his feet, and removing Finzi here, that's pretty big. Unlikely that the Eternal really want to spend anything more on this fight after being already at a play at a disadvantage.
And although OG wants to avoid Cloudy in the Winston versus Reinhardt matchup, just Reinhardt just putting down the damage, there's not really a great opportunity for him to avoid because the payload is so close to the end that if Paris decides to take the fight on the cart, you have to opt into it if you're the Dallas Fuel.
Soon, it's time. Potentially the final fight here. He goes for an EMP. Gets OG. He's down already. No chance to use the Primal Rage and stay alive longer. Picked up almost straight away. Note gets EMP, then hacked, but soon over the edge. Closer sends him flying. And it might be a chance here for the Dallas Fuel to hold on. And there is. Frustration would have to be mounting for the Paris Eternal now, Matt. That was their shot.
It was a great EMP from Soon. And then he goes and he notices Note has self-destruct. Doesn't want him to use it to extend the point any longer. Hacks him again. The Dallas Fuel able to hold on. That's a huge fight.
Yeah, they could have. I mean, Dallas could have stalled out with that Note self-destruct,
Yeah.
but Note was hacked, couldn't use it, so now they just have it for this fight instead.
Yeah, I mean, maybe OG uses Primal and tries to get like solo grabbed here, as Finzi will have that ultimate. Or you could actually, if you get stuck in the grab, you can use the self-destruct to deter any follow-up.
OD dropped down and got hacked. He couldn't jump back up. There it is. Graviton surge. All the bells and whistles with an Earth Shatter coming out from Cloudy. Paris are done with these shenanigans. They're here to finish the game, and it looks like they'll do just that. Uncode's cut down. Gray gets the last laugh in the end. But the Paris Eternal get home. They get themselves a map in this series. It's not enough to give them the win. But they really need to fix that map differential. The Dallas Fuel, though, in the first 3 maps, Matt, looked dominant. Blizzard World, yes, it doesn't go the way they would have liked it to in a draw, but they definitely look to be the better team today.
Yes, the 2-1 series for the Dallas Fuel, big. You move up 2-0 in the stage, 6-3 overall. So Paris, you needed the map win at the end just for your map differential, like you said. You still don't feel great about his team.
Boys.
The Frenchman hugging it out there. It's a long history between a lot of these
Absolutely.
players.
There's like 15 years total of European Overwatch history there. And I'm adding everything together, of course. And, very impressive stuff by the Dallas Fuel. And you've got to feel good. They're coming in on a high, and their homestand weekend is rapidly approaching. Outside of the Blizzard Arena, where LA teams are technically at home, Dallas will be hosting the first home games of the Overwatch League. That's going to be exciting. But you know what's even more exciting? Hearing from the lad AKM down on stage with Mika.
Thanks, guys. We got AKM down here. Everybody make some noise for that impressive performance. So you have a lot of history with some players on the other team, on Paris Eternal, and you picked up their old coach. So was this game a little bit more personal today than the others?
Obviously, it was personal. It's like our friends are in this team. The coach joined us, but today we had the better Frenches.
I love that. Just in general, you're the better Frenches. You guys are going into your next week undefeated for this stage, but you have a pretty tough schedule. You're going up against the Vancouver Titans. So what will make Dallas Fuel the first team to beat Vancouver Titans?
Our preparation, I think our preparation has been great. Our coaching staff has been doing great to prepare for matches. So I think we have a great shot of beating Titans, and I think we're going to do that.
All right, well, you heard it first. Titans will go down next week. So thank you so much, AKM, and we're going to send it back up to Uber and Mr. X.
Classic. Love to see it. This is the classic AKM. I'm going to stand like this, but I'm not going to actually talk humble at all. I'm going to look humble. I mean, if they're feeling riled up coming into that game, that is what we want to see. And I'm glad that he mentioned the coaching stuff because, of course, Demon has gone from the Paris Eternal to the Dallas Fuel as a head coach here. So now he's going up against his old team. It's a lot of talk about Frenchies on the stage, but I want to talk about a gentleman from South Korea for your Omen by HP Player of the Match because OG absolutely gets my vote of Player of the Game today.
He was a boss man today. The Primal Rage skills from him were tremendous. I know you saw some big shatters with Reinhardt play. I feel like OG, that this is one of his stronger performances that we've seen from him this year in the Overwatch League. I think a real landmark game for him.
There have been times where OG has sort of been the sword that Dallas either conquer or die by. That aggression we see from him, it really adds to this team when it's used correctly, and they can harness it. Sometimes not so much, but this match he looked excellent. It doesn't matter what hero we saw him on. Wrecking Ball, we saw a little bit of that on Paris. He managed to break through eventually. His Winston play looks so clean, Matt. Playing entire maps, dying only twice, which is crazy for a Winston player in general.
Yeah, I mean, his ability to just extend fights with Primal Rage, and not just extend them, but they pick up kills off the back of them were huge.
Coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, the games just keep on coming. The Atlanta Reign go up against the Washington Justice. Two teams, again, looking for those W's. They need them real bad. Atlanta have high expectations to live up to, and Washington are here to earn some respect. Stick around for that one. It's going to be big right around the corner.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are live from the Blizzard Arena in Los Angeles. Second game coming up. Hex, what do you think?
It's a packed Blizzard Arena. It's nice to have the crowd here. Everyone's kind of waiting for that last game. The Battle of LA will be coming our fourth game, but we do have Atlanta versus Washington first. Both teams are struggling. Both teams desperate for a win, and both teams could win today.
They're having a lot of trouble in this second stage. Going into stage one, you can kind of say, well, these are new teams, right? They're kind of finding their feet, figuring out how it all works here. You know, it's a big deal playing in front of crowds of fans on the stage. But now you're getting into stage two, you're starting to have some experience.
Washington's only got one win on the year thus far. They've had a pretty difficult schedule to start stage two. Defiant, Hunters, Excelsior, all very top-tier teams, to say the least. The Reign, even though that 4-6 record, they've been on a losing streak, so this one's definitely winnable. The Valiant are still riding the struggle bus, so that's definitely winnable. There's some winnable matches coming up for Washington Justice. They've kind of rebuilt this roster, added Arc in, so now you start getting some wins under your belt, and you can maybe start thinking about turning things around.
You are such a fanboy of the Hunters, though, to include them as a top-tier team in that discussion. Come on, man, really?
I'm not even going to dignify that with a response. Do you think they're not? How dare you?
I think they are top-tier. You know, you and I were a little biased. We just like to see damage dealers out there.
I do like seeing damage dealers.
Well, let's go ahead and take a look at it. Atlanta, last performance. This is where it kind of got a little bit out of hand. So Hex walks through it.
Yeah, they started 4-3, and it was like, wow, this is a good expansion team. But since then, they've lost 3 straight, including gifting Valiant their very first win on the season. Atlanta's trying kind of a soft roster rebuild. Of course, they lost their Starface into Fran. They've tried to replace him with Baby May. There's been some growing pains there. Dako's been out of the lineup, who I thought was one of their best players on D.Va. They've replaced him with FRD. Dogman's been in and out of the roster, so they're just trying to throw everything at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah, it's real tough when you lose one of your core damage dealers. And I just want to touch on this, but the Fran, you know, in the stats, one of the most mechanically gifted players here. And to lose that linchpin, that guy who's going to find those kills for you. You know, BabyBay's got some big shoes to fill. And so far, it seems like he still hasn't quite found his stride.
Yeah, he's looking for it. He's not necessarily the most natural Zarya player either.
No, exactly right. And that is so key right now in the current strategy that is being used. We're seeing a lot of 3 tanks, 3 support. Zarya, kind of this hybrid tank damage dealer that can really crank out damage if you know how to play her right, but there's a certain thing going on there. You have to have a feel, you know, a little bit of an artist. But let's go ahead and get our first team out on the stage. Let's welcome the Atlanta Reign. Question right there.
There's the new face, a very marketable face, rocking the diamond earrings as always. I love BabyBay, but he's got to have a little better graviton surge usage today. He got absolutely abused in their London match, so much so that either cry or you laugh, and they just laughed about it towards the end. He's got to step up a little bit. You've got some rock-solid components on this team. I always think that Erster's a good base point for this team, can play a lot of different heroes, has been on the Brigitte, but isn't a standout Brigitte. They've just got to find a way to put it together. Here's your lineup for today.
All right, BabyBay, glad to see the Dogman will be kicking things off here as well for the Reign. There was a little bit of a moment there where you weren't sure if he was going to be in the starting 6 or not, but it seems like perhaps he has redeemed himself or is on his way there. Now let's go ahead and bring out their opponents, Hex. It's the Washington Justice.
Right out the gates, you see Otto had a rough time last year with the 0-40 Shanghai Dragons. Has a single victory under his belt, looking to turn that 1 into a 2 today. Got some good players on this team. Former NYXL players who are still the cream of the crop, Ark and Giannis being amongst them. Still yet to recapture the magic of being on the bench with NYXL last year, but they're trying to transform this team into a contender. You win 1, you win 2, and then maybe you get yourself a winning streak.
That's the thing, Hex Ark. You know, he's used to rising to the top. And, well, you got to see. He's going to be able to get his team back up there again.
Well, this team right now is Corey and the Koreans right now, and that's exactly what we're going to see is he's going to be playing alone on a lot of these DPS heroes. He's had a really good time when he gets to play Widow, gets to play Tracer. His play overall has improved, so I look to him to be kind of the mark today of where they're at, what styles they want to run, but when he just has to play with the team and doesn't get to do these different heroes, these heroes that he's so good at, then they don't play as well.
I'll give you one, Hex. Why do you think that is?
Because I think the communication is a little bit of an issue. Zarya has to be calling out so many things. She is this utility hero. You need to call out your damage dealing potential in your charge. You need to be calling out your bubbles to other people as well. And now when you're playing Tracer and Widow, you just say, dead, dead, dead. I clicked on heads and they're dead, and it's a lot easier. You see, he's got playtime. He's varied it up a lot. Very likely to see some Bastion today, given the map pool that we're having and the new bunker comp strategies.
So let's go ahead and take a look at the maps that they will be competing on today. Presented by Toyota, it's going to be Busan to kick things off. Control, all about it.
Yeah, Busan could be a map where we see that Widowmaker come out. A lot of these teams have run it both on Mecha Base, one of the stages, and also in downtown Busan, Paris. You might see a little bit of the Bastion composition, the bunker comps, and as we go throughout, we'll see what Corey wants to play. Can't stress this enough. Both these teams desperate for a win. Atlanta to turn things around. Washington to just start getting on the board and getting some confidence with their new roster.
To get things going would be the way to put it for the Washington Justice right now.
We do kick off every Overwatch League map on Control here. It's as simple as can be. That's the big capture point in the middle, a King of the Hill style. You put your body on there, you gain percent. We will do 3 of these, best 2 out of 3, capture the points, win the map.
Now, straight into the action, and already to kick things off, Corey on the Widowmaker. And I'm excited to say Otto will be flying high on the sky. He's playing far up. Rockets are going to go flying here. Ark is on Mercy, plenty of experience there. So Washington trying to stick to their strengths, it seems.
An interesting composition coming out from Atlanta as well is they're not running a Zarya, they're running BabyBay on the Sombra of all things. He opens it up very well. Guido out of the fight. That's their main healer. They don't have the sustain to really go through this. Dogman's going to do his best because they are running the Moira as well, so it's not as impactful as a loss of otherwise would be.
Oh, look at that, Otto. You know, he's going to get pressured, and Dogman really trying to make sure that he does not let Otto get comfortable. Don't want to let him be able to close the gap, but it does look like we will have Atlanta Reign taking first control here on Busan.
Yeah, some interesting compositions here. Atlanta's a team that usually likes to run the Moira too. Early on, does a lot of sustained damage. You see her burst damage healing out there. Also is decent to pressure out a Pharah. Not ideal, but at least you can put some pressure on her. And you build Coalescence very quickly. It's the ultimate's already up.
That was a monster Bionade, though, and they aren't able to follow up on it. They're putting pressure on Pokpo right now. The Justice need to capitalize. Getting the D-back on FRD is big. There's the barrage coming in from Otto. He's going to get canceled out, but he still keeps hammering in the damage. It's going to set it up for the rest of his team to capitalize and get the kills. So perhaps a chance here for the Justice. They just need to hang in a little while longer.
The Justice are just bleeding out on this point, and while Atlanta has control of it, they will continue to accrue percentage going forward. Already nearing 50%. Small changes now coming in as Art gets off of the Mercy, goes to Lucio. Otto off of the Pharaoh, goes to Brigitte. The first attempt did not work, so now is the time to make changes before you get overwhelmed again. However, Atlanta has an EMP ready to go. It's a fight-winning ultimate.
Exactly, Baby Bay looking for the positioning here. Trying to sneak up behind them when they go for the EMP. Oh, counter EMP comes out as well, everybody. Nobody's allowed to say anything. Baby Bay, unfortunately, not quite making it work for his team, and so it will be still Atlanta Reign clear.